Well, thank you both very much indeed. There's only one word I can use, or two words, mind-blowing. This I find really mind-blowing. Has anybody got any simple questions they'd like to ask? I like the idea of flying around. I felt slightly queasy at one time when you shut off. You will be able to just visit individual houses, will you, when this is complete?
The idea is that you can knock on a door on one of the houses and find out who is living inside at any particular time. And we'll try and get a few houses where you can go in and see the furniture and the different rooms where we got that sort of detail. Which is why that list of contents of a house is really nice, because we'll actually put all those things into that particular house, and you can walk in and walk around and go upstairs. That's, ultimately, that's what we'd like to do.
Carol doesn't believe you. He's looking very dubious. Nobody will actually answer the door, right?
I don't know how you guys, I'm not sure about the technology yet.
No.
But certainly you can click on a particular
building. With the list we saw of that house and all its contents. I assume when we went to that house we could see some of those things.
And you'll be able to go back to the original records as well. It's not just our interpretation, you'll be able to see the original records, so that if you disagree with our interpretation, you've got the original records to go back to. The original drawings and the original documents will be, not all of them digitised, but as many as we possibly can.
And just going back to what you were saying right at the beginning, that you don't necessarily think that a 3D game type interface is going to be everybody's cup of tea. So if you think about all of what I showed you there, nearly all of it would actually work without any 3D. A map that you can click on does really do 80–90% want to achieve. So both of those would be available, and I see that this part of it being a big fat "Are you feeling brave?" button, and then you're off if you want to go and do that.
Yes, and of course, from an educational point of view, I can see school children taking great advantage out of this. For not just we, our age, but the younger generation. We're all young here. They are into this sort of thing. They can handle this virtually from birth. It appears now. I think my grandchild advises me occasionally on his matters, and he's only 4. So, but by the time they start using this, it'll be up and running.
We have another variant of this we're developing for the job we're doing down in Shadiga, which is the kids having a model of a town, but they can put their graffiti mark. So they have a little editor which is a bit like, those, what is it when you do cross-stitch sewing? And they've got a little grid in that panel, and they can design. There's even, what's the name for it? Your mark that you do with your spray can.
Logo? No.
There's a name for your
graffiti.
Your tag. Is it?
He's one of them.
So we go into the tour where they have a model of their town, and in fact, we've got the kids working on the model, but we've got part of it is that they can make a little tag, and they can go around and they can apply their tag to images, and they say, I live here, best chips, I bought here, or something. I'm not sure it's not going to stop anybody going in bad.
I'm not sure that that's a good idea, actually. No, I don't. Any other questions?
I know these digimaps can sometimes be used to show services and things like that, can't they? Below ground level. For example, you might have one level that shows the drains, and another level that might show the electrical services and things like that for use by local authorities. That can be done, can't it?
Yeah.
I understand. To record the different things at different levels, below ground level.
You can one way of using you can create that model is a surface, isn't it? And we can have several surfaces.
Yeah.
And there's again, something that we do know, this is something which is part of the software we're using. You can peel away strata to reveal things that are underneath. Quite fun for playing around with, say, archaeological dig sites as well, where you might have new stones and things to be found. But, I know there are some very sophisticated. That whole area of technology has got a name. It's called GIS. Technical Geographic Information Systems. Great title, but there's some people who really are specialising in that area.
Because there was some somebody working for me, unfortunately, 20 years ago, so I can't remember how to get hold of them. But there was actually an underground, and she said a road, it was too wide to be called a tunnel, from at least very near Cupabanga through to Aberystwyth. It had actually been used, not up, obviously it must have been almost natural, but it had been made safe at one stage. And I mean, at that stage, I wasn't investigating anything like that or anything, but I wouldn't mind finding out where that is.
A tunnel from Cupabanga to
That far?
to Aberystwyth?
Yes.
There are tunnels and
Because there was
holes
a
appearing
trade.
in the ground
Yeah.
recently, aren't there?
There was a trade, well, more than one. I mean, the trade went across the country anyway, didn't it? So presumably it would have been some sort of trade road or something.
I think there are more myths about tunnels than there are being tunnels. That's what it means.
No, I'm not.
Well, that would be most interesting to
Yes, it
discover
would be
that
very nice.
tunnel.
Yes, exactly. Chase that one.
Well, I thought you'd know when you tell me something I've been stupid enough not to ask.
It was always said to be a tunnel from Aberystwyth to Class Creek.
Yeah, well, yes, I heard that story. There's a tunnel from Aberystwyth, from the town to Glass Creek, yes.
You know, this is what I was actually thinking, that these were actually what I would call trade tunnels, I don't know the correct term, but used for things that you would want to transport.
Yes, yes.
I think any tunnel from here to Glass Creek would be full of water instantly.
Yes, quite, yeah.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. There's certainly no evidence for it at all. But there have been holes appearing on the prom, and they're the early sewage system, I think, from the 1830s.
Oh, she walked this.
Oh, right.
Well, I think the early sewage system would be very happy to know whether the road is going to collapse next time. I mean, it would give us any more questions.
Have the street levels changed very much over the years?
I don't think there's any evidence of that at all. No, I mean, the ground underneath is pretty solid in most places, so I don't think there's any suggestion that changed. The contour maps for 1880s got the actual heights on.
I'm seeing if you can find your sea level lowest bit while you're
Yes.
talking.
The highest point in town is Balkan Street by the what is now the Mechadawa building. That's the town flooded, isn't it?
I'll try and move the sea down a bit. Where were you suggesting? Where were you looking at Cambrian Street?
Yes.
It's so sensitive. I'll have to go in a bit closer.
Yes, it's about right. This is Cambrian Street. It's from here, isn't it?
It's just too really.
Yes, this is the lowest point. It's in Cambrian Street there. That's the bit that floods, and we've also got photographs of this area flooding. So this is working very nicely, actually.
It's more sensitive.
Does any of you live in Camden Street? I hope you're not being frightened.
No, that doesn't happen anymore. Well, it hasn't happened for a... We got photographs in the 60s of Cambrian Street underwater. Foot or so. Well, if anybody would like to join this project, please leave your name and contact with me at the end. And we'll have a meeting or two and then decide where we go next with this, because there's a lot to be done. You may think there's already a lot digitised, but we do need to transcribe census returns in particular. I know bits of those have been done, but they're not terribly accurate, and we do need accuracy with this. And then we've got to try
Any
and
more
put it all
questions?
together.
These men have been working hard. Well, there's one more question, the last one.
Just to mention, actually, thank you for your comment earlier on, but I would perhaps like to advertise Michael's new book on the taxidermist, which is depicted.
All right, half a book actually.
Well, no, it's really a very, very good book. He was an outstanding taxidermist in Britain. Very few of them. The one
selling the dim tablets.
Is this book out now, Mike?
Yes, it's in the museum.
Excellent, here we are. It's in the museum. If anyone's interested in stuffing animals.
There's a big exhibition over Christmas here of his work. So we are open this year between Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and not all week, 3 days between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So bring your parents, grandparents, children, grandchildren, and have some fun and exercise between Christmas Day and New Year's Day.
Well, Michael and Steve, thank you very much indeed for the most interesting meeting. Thank you very much.